Hi, Kristen Solomon here, court liaison and advocate for right turn impact. Today, Matt Scheuerman Law, here to meet with Mark Scheuerman, criminal defense attorney located in Glen Burnie, Maryland, Essex, and Columbia. Today, we're going to talk with Mark, learn more about him and his practice, and to see why he trusts right turn for his clients. Let's go inside and talk with him.
My name is Mark Scheuerman. I'm a DUI defense attorney. I've been practicing in Maryland for 16 years. I started out doing civil litigation for 5 years, working at a small firm in Baltimore. Didn't really love doing civil litigation work. I found it pretty empty. And I started to do some criminal defense work, and I found a passion. I had this experience where I was representing someone who was going to go to court by themselves for a marijuana matter. And I experienced this fire in my stomach I had never experienced before, mitigating on that client's behalf. I felt that my words had real impact, not only on what was happening right in front of me, but what was going to be happening in the future for that client. I went back to my boss and I asked him if I could do more criminal defense, and he said no. So that's when I decided I needed to open my own practice to do criminal defense work. I've been practicing on my own for 11 years now with my own firm. A real passion for helping people. I had a couple of experiences early in my career there where I felt pretty called by God to set the captives free and to be representing the poor, the weak, and the downtrodden. And that's not what I was doing at my previous firm. In the criminal defense work, DUI defense in particular is what we specialize in. It's a unique opportunity to really be helping people, coming alongside of people and helping them to shed the chains that bind them in different ways, whether it's mental health or substance abuse.
Why does this work matter? Why does DUI defense work matter?
My job is to set the captives free, to really help people to identify what's going on in their life that's led to this situation and how we can overcome the situation. And, we're going to end up in front of a judge. If somebody's charged with a DUI, we're going to end up in front of a judge, and that judge has taken an oath to protect the public. And judges, in my experience, take that oath seriously, as they should. So it's up to us to be able to demonstrate to the judge, not just through words, but through actions, that there's no additional lesson that needs to be taught to our client after court as a result of whatever happened to bring them to court. That's one thing that we're worried about is jail time, is career potential, collateral consequences associated with a conviction or jail time. Those are huge issues. But what's also a big issue is making sure that I don't represent this person again for whatever matter that they're coming before me for, but really trying to identify, why is this happening? What is the pattern? What difficult questions do I need to ask this person that they're not bringing forth to me? Generally, people don't lead with their warts. People don't come in and say, gosh, my marriage is terrible. Gosh, my son or daughter, I can't stand them, the way that they're treating me or the way that they're behaving in school or whatever is going on. But we all have problems. We all have warts, and sometimes those problems create additional problems. Sometimes they create mental health patterns, unhealthy mental health patterns, and sometimes we don't know what to do else but to drink more to sleep at night. And we think that we sleep better with alcohol, but we really don't. So people are coming to us with a pattern, and it's up to us to identify what that pattern is, to try to have a chance to break that pattern. Yeah, it usually takes probing and trying to identify if there's any crisis going on, either past or present, that has been unaddressed. And then we try to identify tools to be able to give that person on day one so that they can be successful, not just in their court case, but in life. No one starts their day by saying, I want to be a mediocre dad. I want to be a mediocre mom. I want to be a mediocre husband or wife or son or daughter. But that's what ends up happening with alcohol abuse and with drug abuse. We really are meant to give more, and the people that suffer are the children. We can really have generational impact, not just in the mother and father's life or whoever the client is, but in all the children, for that mother or father to be more present at home, to be more present at work, to not just meet but exceed the expectations and the role that they have in their family and their community. So it's not just about representing drunks, it's about a mission to really change the narrative and have generational impact through substance abuse treatment, oftentimes a mental health treatment. I've got a thank you in my Essex office. I have a wall of thank you notes from clients. I've saved them, and most of them have attended the Right Turn weekend. And each of those thank you notes represents someone's life that's been impacted in a positive way by what you guys do at Right Turn in their weekend, through Now, no one likes to go to the weekend. I mean, people are oftentimes resistant to the idea of spending a weekend somewhere not their home, or, there's bunk beds and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I tell people that, but real life change is possible. Real reflection is possible. The stories that people hear during the Right Turn Weekend are impactful. So people are changed at their Right Turn Weekend. And it's opportunity for self-reflection, where we don't oftentimes have or make time in our lives for self-reflection. And people always come out better. Now, they need to continue on, obviously, with outpatient and with whatever other course of continued treatment. And really, in my opinion, it takes a whole year of continuous contact with a treatment provider for someone to really get it when they have a problem. But they all have a problem. And what I mean by that is, and I tell people this in the way that I'm honest with them at the intake, but I can't qualify, or I'm not qualified to render an opinion about somebody's alcohol problem or not. I'm not. But if they've been charged with a DUI, they have an alcohol problem. So let's deal with it.
What effect does Right Turn Impact have on a court case?
Well, for example, if someone does a weekend intervention program at Right Turn Impact, most judges are going to give that client jail credit for the time that they spent at Right Turn Impact. Whether it's inpatient, if they did a 28-day inpatient program at Right Turn Impact, most judges would give that client credit for jail time if there was jail time on the table. And you're talking a multiple offense kind of a situation there. But with the weekend intervention program, I'm seeing on a second offense, mostly time avoiding jail time for a second offense, regardless of proximity and age of the two DUIs, if someone is able to do a Right Turn Weekend before court. So judges clearly respect the Right Turn Weekend, and having court liaisons come and speak on clients' behalf is a benefit of going to the Right Turn Weekend. That also helps our clients because you have more than one advocate on your behalf in court. And the judge knows that this person is taking this matter seriously. At the end of the day, a judge needs to base a decision on something. And the Right Turn Weekend gives the judge an ability to understand that this client has learned enough from this experience that it's not likely going to happen again. I can't tell you how many clients who have done a Right Turn Weekend have come back for another DUI, but it's not many. Lots of stories of life change, praise the Lord. But one in particular in Howard County, I had a client with a second offense in 5 years, and he tried to beat the police up in the traffic stop, like literally squared up with his officers, and big African-American guy, professional basketball player. And he tried to fight the officers. That's very not good for the prosecutor or the judge. He did a Right Turn Weekend, but before he did the Right Turn Weekend, and sometimes it's pulling teeth to get people to do things, and this guy was a pulling teeth kind of guy. He probably had a lot going on in his life. I know he did. But he was such a drunk that he pulled a gun on his wife and threatened to kill her in a drunken rage because of how drunk he was. She called me up and told me that. And so I really worked hard to get that man in Right Turn. He went to Right Turn. He didn't get jail time for his court case, despite having tried to beat the police officers up in Howard County. And his marriage changed. He got sober. He stopped drinking. There's no more abuse going on domestically with his wife. There's no more abuse going on with the children. So I didn't really do anything there. The professionals, I think, did, but real change is possible for a whole family.
Beautifully said. A
lot of people are perfectionists out there, and they hold themselves to a pretty high standard. And for a professional, or for some, person to get a DUI, it's a significant setback. Mentally, there's a lot of unknowns that are going on. And what I often see on people's faces when they become a client is self-hatred, unforgiveness of themselves. And we're really good at forgiving other people. And I tell people that when I sense that they're beating themselves up, which is pretty regular. We have three things in the world. We have time, energy, and money. What is the most important? The most important is energy, actually. The more energy you spend looking in the rearview mirror and focusing on the past depletes your energy to focus on what's most important, which is right in front of you. I always encourage people to keep your head up, that this is going to pass. We have your back. You're going to get through this. We're going to get the best result possible for you, but you need to forgive yourself. And people look in the mirror and say, I've got this. And the only way to do that is to forgive yourself and move forward. It's really a job of compassion, of encouragement. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to encourage people who are having a hard time, who can't realize the good that they have at that time. There's so many unknowns when you have a pending DUI, as you know, but keep encouraging people, because everyone in this day and age, people are struggling. Like, this conversation is so much more important in 2025 than it was even in 20-25 years ago. Alcohol has skyrocketed through COVID, and so did police enforcement. Actually went down, and now it's kind of back up. But we have a lot of DUI accidents going on right now. People are crazy driving sober out there, but the people driving drunk are crashing and hurting people. And alcohol is somewhat out of control. So people need the encouragement and to know that they can have a good time outside of alcohol. Most people don't realize that. And that's something that I also try to share with people too. I don't drink much. It's not because I have a problem with alcohol. I sleep better without it. Realization that alcohol is not necessary to have a good time is foreign to most people. And once people realize that, life is possible and life is great outside of alcohol, they can really start to enjoy a more meaningful life.